Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Ace of Pentacles. I'm also seeing 10 of Wands and 8 of Cups and 4 of Wands. Ace of Pentacles can be like a new beginning of sorts that you're having. 10 of Wands is feeling like even though something is just getting started, it's feeling stressful. You may be feeling stressed out. It looks like you have a lot going on. It looks like you have a lot that you're balancing as well. I'm also seeing the 8 of Cups here, which means that having 10 of Wands and having 8 of Cups is that you may be taking on things that you don't need to be taking on. 8 of Cups is about moving in the direction of what we feel like is fulfilling, of what we feel like is nurturing, of what we feel like aligns with us, of what we feel like nurtures the parts within us that we want nurtured, what we feel connected to, like intuitively and emotionally and inspiration-wise. Having 10 of Wands is feeling like it may be time to use your discernment to see what you may be doing unnecessarily, because you could be taking some stuff on. So it's like you're given 10 assignments, and rather than you checking in and being like, which of these do I actually want to do, you may just be taking it on and doing all of them. This card here, having 8 of Cups, it says check in and see which of those you actually want to be doing, because like, why are you doing stuff that you don't want to be doing? It's associated with this new chapter. That's how you're going to bring things back into equilibrium. It's how you're going to harmonize things again, because you may be feeling like you're not in like harmony or not in flow with something. And it's because there can be stuff that's unnecessary that you're doing. Let me use an example of this. With the 8 of Cups coming out in this way, it can be that like before you had to do this list of like 14 tasks, and that's what was needed before. And then you added something else on because it became relevant, and then you added something else on because it became relevant, and then like something else needed to be tended to. And while you're busy adding things on, because like naturally that sort of stuff happens, it's like you forgot to do like the spring cleaning. So that's what this is about. You need to check in and do the spring cleaning. Because as you've been adding stuff on, because it's like at one time it felt like harmonious. When did it start getting so stressful? It's about needing to do the spring cleaning here with whatever this is that you've been busying yourself with. And that's what's going to bring stuff back into the place that you want it to be in. Prioritizing, having 8 of Cups here, it means prioritizing the stuff that you love, or the stuff that you think is fun, or the stuff that you care about, or the stuff that matters to you, like the most important things. And you may be taking the less important things off of the to-do list, or you could even get to a point where you're like, you could put stuff on the back burner. You could also decide that some things like don't need to be done at all, and you just had still been doing them because you hadn't been checking in. And you may be looking at this and be like, I can actually take this off of the list completely. I don't want to be doing this anymore. So it feels like that's what's being figured out. What triggers this is that it feels like a lot in the beginning of something. And so to have this Ace of Pentacles, it's like you're just getting into something or just getting back into something. Why is it feeling so overwhelming immediately when you're just getting started? It's telling you something is out of alignment, something is out of balance. And it's because you're doing stuff that you don't feel like fully participating in. You don't feel a full sense of participation within. Discernment on an emotional level, 8 of Cups. So this can be like, I've been doing this out of obligation, but not because my heart is in it, like that sort of thing. So this is about reconnecting your heart space with what this is that you're taking on, to bring it back into harmony, to make it feel stable, because something is feeling Something is feeling like if you kept it at this pace, you wouldn't be able to maintain that, is what I'm seeing. So that's why. It would be too much. So you have to get it to a spot where you're like, okay, no, this works, I can maintain this. So that's what's being focused on here. And all of it comes down to prioritizing. Like what needs to be done in order to make this thing work and be stable and do what it needs to do. And decisions need to be made too. So this means like executing things. You could have been hesitating on doing this, been hesitant with doing this. There's such a like funny jumbling of words that's happening here. Because you feel like if there are certain things that you take off of this list where you're like, I don't need to do that anymore, I don't want to do that anymore. Because it's more so like desire-led or like heart to whatever it is that you're doing, like connected with that. You could feel that part of the reason why you've been putting off doing this, even though it needs to be done, because you know you can't maintain things as they are. Part of the reason is because it's going to be some sort of issue and you may not have wanted to deal with that. And this has been coming up in a lot of the readings, which I'm noticing because sometimes the way that the readings are, usually there will be like certain cards that pop up very frequently during a particular amount of time, and then all of a sudden it'll like go through a shift and then it's like a different type, but different cards will be popping up more frequently. I've been seeing the Seven of Wands a lot, which can be a card of resistance, but it can also be a card of defense, and it can be a card as well of feeling like if you do something, you're going to be questioned for that thing, or you need to advocate for yourself, or that you need to protect yourself in some way, or you don't feel completely open to being vulnerable. This feels like if I make this choice, I'm going to be challenged in some way. Two of Swords and Seven of Wands. It's like, that's why I haven't been doing it, because if I do it, I know I'm going to have to like defend myself for making that decision. And maybe you didn't want to take that on. But that may also be something that you're removing as well, too. Worrying or busying yourself with unnecessary things. Okay. It feels like you know the stuff that's not working for you anymore, but because of sort of what this would begin, as far as what this would like set off, what this would set in motion, because of that, and knowing that you're sort of going to be called to the stand a bit, it seems like you are in a spot where you're like not wanting to do anything. Maybe you feel like this is a bit of a catch-22, but it's actually like so much more simple. It's like, do you want to do certain things? If the answer is no, then you don't do them anymore. It has to do within like a specific area of your life too. And how, as I said before, like how you're going to know what this is that Ace of Pentacles is you are just starting something, or it is a new chapter, or it is a renewal of something, and it's already feeling like too much. It's already feeling like I took the first step of this marathon and all my energy got drained out, and I feel like I can't even continue with this. So it's like, how are you going to do the rest of everything else? And it's because you're carrying too much stuff. There's stuff that's irrelevant. And how you know that it's irrelevant is because you don't feel connected with it emotionally. That's what this is saying. So if when you think about having to go do that thing, you don't feel happy and excited about that, and you don't feel at peace about that, or you don't feel like at bliss, within bliss, to be connected with this thing, it means that it's got to go. It's not the time to be doing this anymore. But it feels like you're having a difficult time with the shedding that needs to be done, with the releasing that needs to be done. So you're over here holding things that actually like don't really matter to you anymore. But it's for fear of being questioned, it seems, or like you feeling like your stress isn't valid, something like that is what I'm seeing too. Because having 10 of Wands and having 7 of Wands, 10 of Wands is like, I'm feeling really stressed out right now. 7 of Wands can be like, if I say that, I'm going to be questioned for that. Or like, I'm going to have to defend myself, or I'm going to have to advocate. Like, it's not enough to just be feeling that way. Like, I have to say it, and then I'm going to be questioned or something like that is the feeling. And there can be like, I don't know if it's just fear about not doing certain things that you don't want to be doing anymore, and like what that will do, or like what the implications of that are. It feels too like it's even you being in a spot where you're like, I'm caught between a rock and a hard place, and so I don't really know how to move through this, except like you do actually know how to move through this. You just are in a spot where you it feels like maybe not wanting to deal with the repercussions of what that would be. So you already know what to do. I'm just seeing like a lot of hesitance, a lot of reasons why you're telling yourself you've been putting this off, but your guides are saying you need to do this. It's being strongly encouraged. You may also feel like you're very sucked into 3D things right now and need to zoom out a bit and remember the bigger picture here. Because you know when we have a problem, it feels like the biggest and only thing going on in the world. You zooming out and getting some perspective here is going to help you, because you're going to see that something that you've been fretting about or worrying over may not be as big of a deal as you think that it is right now. As big of a deal, as big of a thing. So you could be seeing something like very, very zoomed in and very blown up right now. And what you're going to see like when you back up from this is that this may be something actually quite minute. Things moving forward. It feels like picking a path or picking a side, making choices that need to be made. This can also be a decision about something that feels like it's just getting started too. There can be relationship decisions that are being made. I'm seeing another side to things here. Why is the 7 of Wands here? Move forward in a way that feels empowering to you. This is about trusting yourself. Because maybe some of you feel like fear could potentially be motivating a choice versus doing things and moving forward in a way that you feel good about and that feels empowering to you. Because I'm seeing that be important here. It seems like it's about the next steps of things and having a conversation about that or communicating about that. Knight of Swords, the Devil, and the High Priestess. You could be poking around with things that you don't need to be poking around with. Unnecessarily is what this seems like. To have Knight of Swords, this is like asking questions, passing on information, having conversations, but it can also be like us not holding our tongue when we need to. I'm saying that because it's attached to the Devil. So this can be for like attachment reasons or like shadow reasons. You're over here like saying something, doing something like that, and then we have the High Priestess be connected with it. So you could be feeling like that's overshadowing even your like higher knowing or your deeper knowing, because you're feeling triggered about something. Because I'm seeing also Five of Swords here. So this can mean you like wanting answers about stuff, but it's like fueling the ego even. It can be. Like Knight of Swords is about like the delivery system. And Knight of Swords is known for being to the point. But to have the Devil attached to it, it can be like concerning yourself with things unnecessarily. Things that you don't need to know. Things that it's not benefiting your growth, but it's dragging you further down into something. And it could even be fueling something for you, but in a way that it doesn't feel like it's elevating you. It feels like it's bringing you down. But you could almost feel like having Knight of Swords and having Devil, it's like I almost can't help myself, you know, from doing that thing. But you know that it's not like doing anything like beneficial for you, or you feel like it's not. You feel like it's pulling you down. And you feel like the more, this can even be investigating too with the High Priestess here. You can feel like the more that you're doing this, the more trapped it's making you feel. And then having Five of Swords, it's like actually blowing up your ego even more, because this is like, it's like a tangent of the Devil. It's like you're on a mission over here to satiate something, but it's like a low vibrational like impulse that you're having, and it's all connected with like information or information seeking or communication, like something like that. But it's something that like the frequency that you're connected to right now, it's bringing you more and more into an ego space is what I'm seeing. So it even, like Devil next to the High Priestess can be using your intuition or using esoteric means for worldly things that actually end up trapping you rather than liberating you. And then feeling like this because of it, which doesn't feel good. Because it's just activating the ego. It's stuff that rather than it helping you, right, when we connect with the High Priestess by itself, you feel calm, you feel at peace, you feel safe, you feel reassured, you feel encouraged. When the Devil gets involved, it's like something over here is freaking you out. You feel scared. You feel like you got to watch your back. You need to defend yourself. You never know what could be popping up from where. It's like just all those types. You feel unsettled, that type of stuff. You feeling anxiety. It's like these things that just go on a roll here because of this. So you don't need to be seeking out whatever this is. This can also be listening to something too. But it's like a frequency thing is what I'm seeing. And you'd know because it has you feeling on guard. And this can also be like somewhere where you're getting your information from too, or like certain conversations that you're deciding to maintain, like that sort of thing. But having devil and having high priestess, there can be something esoteric that's being, it's like the way that it's being used. Yeah, the best way to explain it is just the way that it's being used is something that will trap you rather than liberate you. So it gets you caught up in a cycle, and it's not a cycle that feels good. It's one that has you feeling like suspicious or on guard or unsettled. Like it doesn't feel like something that brings you a sense of peace or a sense of resolve. So it's something to pay attention to. It's a frequency thing. So when you tune in, you'll know what you're feeling and what it's bringing up for you. Something that you may have been decided on, it seems like there is information that comes through about it that you receive that feels like it aids you in making a decision associated with a potential new chapter. Big on the word potential. 10 of Wands, 7 of Wands. You may be feeling stressed out and also like you can't put anything else on your plate. And to have the devil here, it feels like the devil is telling you, devil is like your attachments, I need to pile this on and collect and collect. It feels like the devil is potentially telling you, hold on to these certain things. When you're like, I don't even have any more like room or space to be holding on to anything else, because the devil is like an attachment, right? And so it's like more and more stuff that wants to attach itself when really shedding is needed here. But you're at a spot where like 10 of Wands, you don't have any more room, like energetically, however else this is resonating for you, you don't have any more room to take anything else on. And so you sort of have to like defend yourself from your devil, which is that part within you that's like something's not enough, like you need more, like don't shed it. It's like that part, it's like very, very like greedy and clingy and wants to hold on to things when it really needs to be shed and released. And it has, the crazy thing about this is that the devil has you holding on to things you don't even want, but it's telling you that you want it. You're over here feeling stressed out, you need to shed things. And the devil is tricking you into thinking that you need those things, so don't get rid of it. And this is like all on an energetic level too. Like that's where this is beginning as well. But how you know that it's the devil telling you to hold on to something and not your heart is because you're holding on to things that your heart doesn't feel connected with. And as soon as you may like think about like, oh, this is something that I could shed or I could release, the devil's like, oh, I wouldn't do that, you know? And so it's causing like concern and worry for you, and it's blocking you from your intuition. But it's the devil. It's like, it's not your intuition. Your intuition is like trying to communicate with you, but the devil over here is like, I wouldn't get rid of that if I were you. But really, like your heart's already telling you, I don't feel connected to this thing, or like this isn't resonating with me anymore. It's time to release it. And there can be like anxiety about that because your attachments are like, don't let me go, don't let me go, don't let me go. But you, energetically, in the heart space, it's already been released. But psychologically, it may not have been released yet. And so that's basically what's happening here. But you could feel a disconnect from your intuition a bit. But it's just anxiety that's like creating this illusion that you're not connected with your higher self. You doing this shedding and this releasing, it's how you're going to bring things back into harmony to get it all working, which is, it's like the high priestess is trying to get like this internal machine working back again within you that feels like it's out of whack right now, and the devil keeps like messing with it. And the high priestess is like, you need to do this in order to get it back on track. And so you need to proceed in a way that's actually going to do that. But because of the devil, it has you feeling like it's like almost wrong to do that, or it's not okay because you're in your ego space. So that's why it's suggested that when you're making these choices and when you're planning things out and figuring things out and being like, do I go this way or this way? You do it, let your motivation be something that's empowering to you rather than doing something out of fear or scarcity. That's how you're going to get through this. And that's what your higher self is communicating with you here. But the devil is telling you other things. So you have sort of this little angel and devil on your shoulder type of thing that's going on here. And that's why you're immediately feeling stressed out at the beginning of this, because there's stuff that naturally needs to be shed in order to get things back into a cycle of harmony. And there's this part of you that feels like defensive about doing that, and like on guard about doing that, or like something not okay with doing that. Like I'm seeing you be a bit heightened. So that's what's happening, all right? Okay, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.